Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa coming to you from the living room in Jacksonville Beach. We're going to pick up in Matthew chapter 10, and today we're going to use the New Living Translation. And I found this online. I don't know if the site's called Bible Study Tools, but you can find any of these versions. And so I'm using a couple different ones just to give you an idea of what's out there for you to study. And so we see here that this is the NLT, but in this site, you can do all these different Common English, the Chinese, all these. Like, look how many Bibles. And there's the New Living Translation. There's even Catholic Bibles and stuff. So this is another one. It's good scholarship. I like the Net Bible, the New English Translation. This is the New Living Translation. So living means that this has vibrant, alive wording to it, but it's pretty true to the original Greek text in this. I might have said the Hebrew in the last one in Matthew 9, but the New Testament, what we call the New Testament, was written in Greek. Matthew 10 starts, Jesus called his 12 disciples together and gave them authority to cast out spirits and to heal every kind of disease. And remember, at the end of chapter 9, he said, well, there's a lot of people that need to be saved, but there aren't many people to do it. So pray to the Lord of the harvest that he's going to send people out into the harvest to do his work. And I said, I bet he's getting ready to send some people out. So now he's getting them ready. This is spring training for you sports fans. He's given them authority to cast out spirits and to heal every kind of disease and illness. And here are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, also called Peter, then Andrew, Peter's brother, James, son of Zebedee, and John, James' brother. And the big three are Simon, James, and John. They're the ones that we're going to run into the most in this. Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, the tax collector. And remember, he wrote this book. James, son of Alphaeus. So there was James, the son of Zebedee, who's John's brother. This, to show he's a different James, he's the son of Alphaeus. Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who later betrayed him. And if you don't know that part of the story, things don't end well for Judas Iscariot. Jesus sent out the 12 apostles with these instructions. Don't go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans. So in this area, there were the Jews, and there were the Gentiles, the non-Jews, and then there was a mixture of people in the northern part of Israel that were Samaritans, and they kept the Jewish religion. They were kind of mixed, and they weren't considered by the Jews in Judea to be Jewish. That sounds like he's discriminating against people, and he is, but sometimes you discriminate against people for a reason. But only to the people of Israel, God's lost sheep. And it's because that's who he was sent to. Now later, when they reject him, he goes to everybody. But right now, it's like, okay, this is the game plan. Go to these people, and do these things and say these things. Go and announce to them that the kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cure those with leprosy, and cast out demons. Give as freely as you have received. So he's saying, yeah, all this stuff that you got to see me do, you can do it now. How'd you like to be on that team? Don't take any money in your money belts, no gold, silver, or even copper coins. He's saying, be penniless when you leave here. Don't carry a traveler's bag with a change of clothes or sandals or even a walking stick. Don't hesitate to accept hospitality because those who work deserve to be fed. Whenever you enter a city or village, search for a worthy person and stay in his home until you leave town. When you enter the home, give it your blessing. So you walk in the house and you bless it. If it turns out to be a worthy home, let your blessing stand. If it is not, take back the blessing. So you see, this is a much easier to understand version of English than the King James, which we were looking at yesterday. If any household or town refuses to welcome you or listen to your message, shake its dust from your feet as you leave. So people are like, nah, get out of here. And you're like, yeah, I'm shaking my dust off. So nothing that has anything to do with this town goes with me. I tell you the truth, the wicked cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and we looked at that in the book of Genesis, will be better off than such a town on the judgment day. So those towns, which were incinerated, fire came down on them. They were better off than these towns to kick you out. Look, I am sending you out as sheep among wolves. So be as shrewd as snakes and harmless as doves. But beware, for you will be handed over to the courts and will be flogged, so you'll be beat with whips in the synagogues. So it's not talking about the Romans taking them to the Roman justice building, whatever that was, and beating them. The Jews are going to take them and beat them at what we call a church, or Olive, what your dad's family call a mosque. It's the house of worship. You will stand trial before governors and kings because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell the rulers and other unbelievers about me. You're going to be beat, but that's so that you're there. Because the people that are beating you, remember, he said, I didn't come to heal the people that are well. I came for the sick. Well, these are the sickest people. You come in there and you're healing people. And they're like, yeah, we're going to beat you. Well, now you have that audience. Now you're where you're supposed to be. And Christianity's like that. I've been real fortunate. I haven't been thrown into the fire that much. I mean, I was for a short time when I was going through the throat cancer in 2006, 2007. I was in some places that were really dark, where people had no hope. And I was there, and I got to help a couple people, and thank you, Jesus. That's all I can say. When you are arrested, don't worry about how to respond or what to say. God will give you the right words at the right time. And I need to just mention something. In ministry, a lot of times you'll hear Christians go like, yeah, I don't prepare to get up and speak in front of people. I don't prepare a Bible study. I just open the Bible and start reading it. And this, I'm kind of doing that, but I've taught this book before, so and I'm really just trying to read it. I'm not trying to go through line by line what's called an exegesis of it. Even sometimes I do, but people go like, yeah, if I'm going to get up and give a speech, I don't even prepare for it, because it says in the book of Matthew 10:19 that God will tell me what to say. Well, no, he said if you're arrested, he'll tell you what to say. Like, these people are prepared to heal folks, and they know that when they're arrested, they're arrested to tell them about Jesus. Like, hey, what are you doing here? Well, Jesus sent me. Well, who's he? Well, let me tell you. You asked, I'm going to tell you. It's not an excuse for people who are getting up to give a speech to not prepare. And those speeches are always horrible. And people are always yawning. And I hate when people do that. For it is not you who will be speaking, it will be the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. A brother will betray his brother to death. A father will betray his own child, and children will rebel against their parents and cause them to be killed. And all nations will hate you because you are my followers. But everyone who endures to the end will be saved. And it is like that. Around the world today, Christians are being killed because of Jesus, because they were sent in the name of Jesus. I'm not saying that people of other religions aren't killed because of their religion, like they are. They are. The Muslims and Hindus are constantly like firebombing each other's holy places in certain parts of the world. It's crazy. But Christians, you expect it. When you are persecuted in one town, flee to the next. I tell you the truth, the Son of Man will return before you have reached all the towns of Israel. So he sends them out, and it's sort of like open-ended, like, yeah, just go out. And he's not saying when they come to arrest you, to beat you, to run away. He's not saying that. It's like after that's happened, after you've been persecuted, then flee the city. Like, go out, knock the dust off your sandals, and just go find another one. And the Son of Man has not returned yet. and so these guys, had they kept going, they still wouldn't have reached all the towns of Israel. And it's not meant to be taken literally. It's saying you're never going to finish this job. That's the underlying meaning. Students are no greater than their teacher, and slaves are not greater than their master. Students are to be like their teacher, and slaves are to be like their master. And since I, the master of the household, have been called the prince of demons, and remember we just saw that, the members of my household will be called even worse names. But don't be afraid of those who threaten you, for the time is coming when everything that is covered will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. And that time hasn't come yet, but it's still coming. What I tell you now in darkness, shout abroad when daybreak comes. What I whisper in your ear, shout from the housetops for all to hear. Now, what I'm saying is true. Everything hasn't been revealed, but a lot of it has been revealed to these guys. Like, they don't understand yet what's going on, but they will. By the end of this book, they will. 28 chapters, we're only on 10. He has to go to Jerusalem and die and rise from the grave, and then send them out. When he sends them out, that's part of what he's talking about here. When you know, then shout it from the housetops for all to hear. Don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Fear only God, who can destroy both soul and body in hell. What is the price of 2 sparrows? 1 copper coin? But not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows, even though he loves the sparrows. Everyone who acknowledges me publicly here on earth, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But everyone who denies me here on earth, I will also deny before my Father in heaven. Don't imagine that I came to bring peace to the earth. I came not to bring peace, but a sword. That's scary, huh? I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So he was saying a few verses ago, this is going to happen. And now he's saying, I'm going to make it happen. Your enemies will be right in your own household, and quite often they are. I have none in my household. I have to say that just in case your grandmother does someday listen to this. If you love your father or mother more than you love me, you are not worthy of being mine. Or if you love your son or daughter more than me, you are not worthy of being mine. He's not saying you need to not love your son or daughter and only love me. That's not the message here. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not a pie where there's only so much to go around and Jesus wants the whole pie. It's an open-ended game. The more love you have, the more that you can give, the more the love grows. So you want to have Jesus be the focus of your love, of your adoration. And then you can love these others way more than you did before. If you refuse to take up your cross and follow me, you are not worthy of being mine. Now, these guys know what a cross is. They know what that represents. Roman crucifixion. They're in part of the Roman Empire. What is this man talking about? We're taking up our cross. And criminals were made to carry their own cross to their execution. That was part of it, and that's what they did to Jesus. And it's like, well, we're picking one of these things up like we're common criminals? What's this man saying? If you cling to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me, you will find it. Anyone who receives you receives me. And anyone who receives me receives the Father who sent me. If you receive a prophet as one who speaks for God, you will be given the same reward as a prophet. And if you receive righteous people because of their righteousness, you will be given a reward like theirs. And if you give even a cup of cold water to one of the least of my followers, you will surely be rewarded. So, we're going to pick up in chapter 11 next time. And until then, peace out, kiddies. Maybe we'll see what happens to these guys when they go out.